There you go. Do-do-do.
And she joins me now. Congresswoman, it does look like we are headed towards a shutdown. What do you see as the Democratic strategy and message here for a government funding bill?
I mean, Chris, we're here to help people. We are here in the midst of this destruction of the federal government, the federal safety net, $1 trillion eviscerated from people's health care, their Medicare, their Medicaid in this country, with prices that are skyrocketing and life becoming completely untenable for the American people. We are here to try to be a backstop and to be that backstop, which is what the American people have elected us to do.
So right now, there's this sort of back and forth about the ACA tax credits. And there's kind of a strange dynamic that I want to get your sense of, right? Because at one level, negotiating over the ACA tax credits is important. I mean, there are people who are going to see their premiums go up 15, 20%, like huge amounts are going to spike. Republicans don't like these extenders. Democrats do. They think it's good for people. But that's fully in the lane of like normal politics. And then at the same time, like the president of the United States assembled 800 military commanders to say, I want you're going to have to go to war against your fellow citizens in American cities. And I think people are having a little bit of a hard time of like, we're going to have a fight on the shutdown about the tax credits, but not about the president wants to declare war on Americans, even though I understand those two are conceptually distinct. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, Chris, but I think that's something for us to really set the record straight here on. This is not a fight over tax credits. This is a fight over your ability to go to a pharmacy and afford your insulin. We're not talking about just 15 or 20% increases in people's premiums. Tomorrow, healthcare companies and today, healthcare companies are finalizing the premiums that everyday Americans are going to be paying. And we are talking about a doubling of monthly healthcare premiums, not even including your deductible, in terms of what people are going to be paying next year because of $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts that were put together earlier this year. And I don't know about anybody else, but I do not think that this is just about a tax break or a small tax extender. This is about fighting not just on tax breaks, community health centers, and ensuring that we have a stability of the American healthcare system. And when Republicans use a legislative mechanism to gut the American healthcare system, we have to use a legislative mechanism in order to restore it and to fight for it. Because at the end of the day, people may talk about tax credits this and tax credits that. What they do understand is when you have insulin and you can't afford it. What they do understand is when your kid has chemotherapy or your spouse gets diagnosed with cancer and you go into a hospital and it doesn't get covered. And you have to choose life and death, what this is about. Now, that does not mean that we ignore the abhorrent violation of law and norms and what is happening with our U.S. cities. But we have a broad spectrum of ways and places that we can fight, including our governors, our attorney generals, and our state and municipal leaders.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I had to put you guys through that. I'm sorry. Please stay subscribed. Hit the like button. I find it fascinating and incredible, really. Incredible. Sorry about that. I had to fix the lighting a little bit. I find it incredible, really, because I remember in 2021, there was an attempt. Now, forced to vote was not going to succeed, but it would have laid down the foundations to help AOC a little bit and the progressive lawmakers if they were serious about healthcare in this country. Forced to vote would have worked. Forced to vote would have been a great tactic and would have really invigorated the progressive independent movement for Medicare for all. All right, the height of a pandemic. And no, AOC did not help us out. She was not there for the March for Medicare for All, also in 2021. I remember things, and yet how convenient that she has forgotten. And I also want to point out something else here as well. You just can't go ahead and decide to negotiate with Chucky Boy Schumer. Here, I want to pull up this one here as well, just to share it.
Let me ask you this. There are some people I have seen who have the following theory of why Senate Democrats have not cut a deal where they give 8 votes and move along. And that is that Chuck Schumer is worried about a primary challenge from you and is worried about the politics to his left flank. And so because of that worry about a primary challenge, he's going to shut down the government. Ergo, it is AOC's fault that the government's shutting down, or that you're somehow the kind of fulcrum of this. And I want to just ask you straight up, like, are you planning to primary challenge him? Do you think that's why he's doing this?
This is...
Oh my goodness, drop the T. It's a Democrat drama.
So not about me in this moment. This is about people being able to insure their children. And I will say, because I saw some senators speculating about this, and I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance. That's what's not going to happen. And so if those senators think that we're having a shutdown because of me, they're free to enter my office and negotiate, because what we're not going to do is allow all of millions of people in this country to not be able to afford their insulin and their chemotherapy. So come strike a deal with me if that's what they really think is going on.
Uh-huh. Great. Yes. Girl, baby girl. You know what? Here. I'm sorry. This requires a refresher. Just a refresher.
Didn't get a floor vote on Medicare for all.
That's garbage. You can do it right now. We need 15 Democrats.
Hi, Jimmy.
We need the elected officials that you helped get elected to tell Nancy Pelosi that you will not vote for her as speaker unless Medicare for all is put on the House floor for a vote.
I think it's a really smart idea.
You know, the worst abuse of power, Crystal, is not using the power you have to fight for people.
Will they? Time to let AOC know they have no other option, because we're watching and we see through their bullshit excuses.
We have to put public pressure on them.
I want to see who's going to vote against healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. If you're not going to do it now, you are never going to do it, you phony.
All the people who filled up your voicemail, they're going to remember whether you did the right thing here.
Which side are they really on? This is where you force progressive House members to reveal who they answer to. Do they answer to their constituents, or do they answer to the party bosses? Listen to AOC's own words.
The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed.
And so this moment is the great unmasking.
Force it to happen.
Ask them, are you fighters or are you careerists? Are you activists for the people, or are you posers on Twitter?
Everyone's going to try to tell you that if you're just a little bit nicer, then it'll be fine. No.
The whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. You got to make them uncomfortable. She's pretending to be part of a movement when she's really running cover for Nancy Pelosi. Did you think anybody voted for you so you could vote Nancy Pelosi without getting them anything? This is Medicare for all. People's actual lives depend on us doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's your chance to actually use your leverage. Will you?
Take risks.
Or will you be a party fucking climber?
Start bringing the ruckus on the Democratic Party. Force it to happen. Do not trust any political party to automatically work in your interest.
I call on everybody in independent media to join this mission.
Force it to happen.
Force the Congress to show which side are they really on. No vote for Nancy Pelosi unless Medicare for all is put on the House floor for a vote.
The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed. So we need to push them.
Man. Yeah, well done. Shout out to Matt Orfla. Shout out to a good friend of the show, Matt Orfla. It's been a while since we had him on. I'm going to reach out to him, see if we can get the guy back on. But there you go. But that is what's happening. That is what's going on. But yes, the government shutdown happened. It failed to pass a stopgap spending bill on Tuesday, just hours before the midnight deadline. Republicans who hold a majority in the chamber, they need Democrat support to clear the bill under current rules. And Democrats have refused to back the bill because it proposed an alternative that would permanently extend health care subsidies set to expire at the end of the year and reverse plan cuts to Medicaid. And that's also going to probably impact a lot of other people, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SSDI, who knows? But there's going to be irreversible damage. And President Donald Trump warned of more cuts and massive layoffs. The last government shutdown began on December 22nd, 2018, and lasted 35 days. Prepare yourselves. Just when things almost were looking bright nearing the end of 2025, things become bleak and grim dark. But yes, Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare for all would have been nice. It would have been nice. All of that would have been nice. But when you hear AOC talking about this, always ask her, where were you for forced to vote?